It's Jazzy. Right now we're hanging with Big Boy.
It's Big Boy. Hey,
my
with
partner,
Jazzy.
your partner.
Hello.
Everybody's partner.
Hello.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, Big. How are you doing today?
Well, I can't complain.
Okay. So, Big, I gotta
this
just...
is so cute. Go ahead now.
I gotta just ask you. Now, you've been making like big impacts on people's lives for a while. I know since I was a little girl and maybe even then before. What is the best thing about being Big Boy? Like how I just stole that from you because that's one of your questions before.
But no, really, it's just being in a space where you can create and have fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, who gets up and go to a place, that's my food is ready. Who gets up and go to a place that you enjoy being at? And, you know, and if I got the neighborhood laughing, then I know that somebody's kind of laughing in their car. You know what I'm saying? So just the gratification and the satisfaction of just being happy and making people happy. You know what I'm saying? So if there was anything that you take away from your job, it's just having some place that you can go to every day that, you know, you've been allowed to create this neighborhood that you enjoy and work with people that you enjoy and getting out in public and people, sometimes people will come up to me and they won't even say anything, they just start laughing. You know what I'm saying? And then start laughing and it's like, oh, okay, you know, they mess with me. You know what I'm saying? So just that, man. And I'm a public person, I'm a people person, so I love people just coming up to you. Like, I don't run from that. I don't run from love. I run to it, if anything. You know?
Does it still like blow your mind at all how many lives have you touched?
All the time.
All the time. You never get used to it?
I pray to God I never get used to it.
Okay.
I'm talking about even like there's times when I have my headphones on and I hear my voice in the headphones. I'm like, damn, I get these moments in the neighborhood too, and I let them know. I'm like, dude, people are listening right now. You know, that's crazy. Or when somebody come up, Jazz, and they say, oh, can I take a picture? Like, people really want to take a picture. You know, and they have it in their phone or they put it on their social media. Like, that shit still trips me out. Like, it's not like, oh, well, you should want a picture. You know, it's crazy that people want a picture or people come up and they say, man, I listened to you for, you know, X amount of years, or, you know, that I rock with you. That's crazy. I never want to get used to that, because if I get used to that, then
you be immune to it. It doesn't phase you anymore.
And you don't want that shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, not at all.
Kind of takes away from the humility of it all,
and
right?
you always want it to be exciting to you. You know? And not that, oh, you get bored or I'm not excited, then that's why. But I just like the excitement of people. And I haven't, no matter how many years I've been on, I haven't met everyone. So I enjoy knowing that even when I roll out today, I'm going to meet somebody. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy for me.
So what's like the worst thing about being Big Boy? Or is there any negatives to it?
The worst? Nah, you know, the only thing that is trying sometimes is I've been doing mornings for a lot of years. And not that this is sometimes, and I sleep crazy. So if I go to sleep like, you know, 1, 2 in the morning, I know where I got to be at 5 in the morning. So that's the only thing, but I wouldn't trade it in for nothing. There's no, you know, there's no craziness like, you know, my family, my kids grew into this. They were born into this. So it's not like, oh, I need some time. I'm with my kids and, you know, none of that. So there's nothing crazy. If there's anything, there's, you know, if it's, you know, social media is a new world. You know what I'm saying? With everybody having a total access to you. But other than that, nah, I don't trip off of it. You know, I get a lot of love, so I don't trip.
Now I'm gonna go back to the social media thing in a second. Let's go back to the actual beginning of Big Boy. For those who don't know or, you know, wasn't able to read your books, I had the honor to, and I thank you so much for that. How did you get the name Big Boy?
Dude, I got the name Big Boy from a cat by the name of Augie Johnson, rest in peace. I was like 15 years old, and everybody wanted to be a rapper. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to be a rapper, and I had a different name back then. And he was like, no, he started calling me Big Boy. He's like, I'm gonna change your name to Big Boy. And you gotta think, I'm like 16 at the time. And so he just started calling me Big Boy. It stuck to me, and he was like, he told me, he said, Jazz, he said, when you walk into a room, you want people to know exactly who you are. And it was great for me because can you imagine if my name was MC Scratch? How fucking old and outdated is
MC
that?
Scratch.
Can you imagine if I came on and it was like Scratch Neighborhood? And it was back then because I used to rap and DJ. So MC was for the rapping and Scratch was for the DJing, which I don't do none of that shit anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so that name would have been dated. And people look at me now and I'm like, you know, lost weight from gastric bypass and living a different life, you know, but I'm still Big Boy. And even at that time, you know, I got to 500 pounds. I was always Big Boy. So that name stuck, you know, and I always, you know, will remember Augie for that, because he handed me a name that was golden, you know.
Yeah. Now, before you were into radio, before you got that name, you were doing security.
Yeah. Well, I was Big Boy when I was doing bodyguarding too.
Oh, you were? Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So it was the Augie, he used to work for the Big Boys?
No. Augie's older. You know, rest in peace, the dog. But no, Augie was a cat from the old school. Like, Aug was in a soul group called Side Effect. And so being like 15 and knowing his son and like, oh, that guy's in the music business, I kind of latched onto him. But the actual bodyguarding, all that came later. You know, that was like, I'd already, you know, graduated high school. I was in college and I had an opportunity to travel and, you know, look out for a group called the Far Side.
Right.
And so I got on
Great
the
group,
road
by the
with the
way.
Far Side. Hell yeah. And those were great guys to go out with, you know. The only problem we got into wasn't Far Side related. It was some racial shit, so we had to squash some boys. But just great guys to be on the road with, you know, and great guys to travel with and learn from. And then when radio, an opportunity came, it was like, you know, I want to go try this, you know. And they told me, they said, man, if it don't work out, you know, you can come on back.
Oh, that's good. So,
Peace!
so to this day, you still talk to them, right? You have a
To this
great
day,
relationship?
yeah, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. And now, since you've been in radio for a while, is there something that you've seen that's drastically changed that you can't just adjust to? Whether it be in radio or not even just radio.
No, because you got to adjust. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to adjust. And I've had to adjust my whole career. You know, if you don't adjust, you become a dinosaur. You know what I'm saying? If you don't adjust, it's ashes, dust to dust. Like, I can't. How old are you, Jazz?
25.
Okay, so as a 25-year-old, I can't come and tell you what I used to do 20 years ago. Like, man, well, you missed all. Like, no, I got to create for you today.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? My son is 10 years of age. When I go to his basketball game, the kids run up to me and they talking about phone taps and hellos and all this stuff. So I gotta perform to them. So it's no real, like, you know, every day I gotta make sure that I recreate. So I gotta adjust. You know, I came into radio when it was carts and CDs, and I was change resistant. If I didn't change, where would I find a fucking cart now? You know what I'm saying? We don't even play CDs.
Yeah.
And then, you know, or waiting for the newspaper to come to do the news. You had to walk downstairs to get the actual newspaper. And you know what I'm saying? So you had to adjust. You had to adjust to, you know, music that you loved, the music that you rocked with, and what was so West Coast. And, you know, you had to go through movements and, you know, seeing Death Row and Bad Boy and Rough Riders and this, that, and the other, and to where you are today. So you got to make adjustments. You know, even stuff that I used to do, Jazz, years ago, I could never do today. You know, I was so fucking young and raw. We did some of the most craziest stuff on air. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
with like the contesting and stuff like that.
Yes.
So I heard that stuff. Contests can get out of line. You know, you can make someone do like the most randomest things. When I was going to school for radio, side note, they told us that there was one guy in particular who got fired immediately because one of the contests, he had asked the audience to see how long they could, I think, either hold their breath or hold their bladder, and someone actually died from doing that.
Yeah. It was the Wii game. They was trying to win. If it's the same story, they was trying to win a Wii.
I think
and
so.
It was hold your Wii for a Wii. Like, hold your wee. And the lady, I think it was a female, she was trying to win for her son, and she, you know, drunk the water, so on and so forth, and held it, and yeah, she ended up dying when she got to the crib. Like, and we've had some crazy stuff. Yeah, man. We've had some that I'm just like, man, I knock on everything that we got through that, you know?
Yeah.
And now you got to police yourself even more so. You got to take it an extra layer. You know, people are a little more sensitive. You know, people are a little more opinionated with what can get on your screen. Everybody has an opinion. We're all right now. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's right. So, you know, you just kind of stick to not being as crazy. You know, we're crazy, but not being like we used to be.
Off the chain.
Yeah.
Reckless, just out of here.
Like, even thinking about some of the stuff we've done, I get nervous. Like I sometimes just, like on real shit, I just like, oh my god, like
Nervous, like how so? Like kind of like karma wise?
Like no, not even just like I get this feeling like, oh my god, I can't believe we did that. You know, and I'm talking about like crazy stuff. You know, people
nothing that you
dog
can't share.
shit sandwiches.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god.
Slapping each other across the face with foot sandals. Getting a tattoo of I slept with Shaq on his forehead.
Do you still have that to this day?
He got it removed. I bet
that was painful.
Yeah, so just so much. Releasing dogs on tattoo. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, just crazy shit.
It was good times though, right?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Times.
We did it.
Now your core listeners obviously remember you when you were a little bit bigger. Tell us about the surgery. The guy, you said you had gastric. Can you say it for me?
Gastric bypass.
Gastric bypass. Hello. Okay.
Yeah, I had a procedure called the duodenal switch. And the crazy thing about the same big boy that you see today is if you see me walking through the hallways and I'm like, hey, what's happening? Like, I never was the big dude that was like closed in and, you know, recluse and, you know, you could punk me and fuck with me and all that shit. I always was the dude that you wanted to be around. Then when I got into radio, you know, you start to think like, man, you know, I got these billboards, I'm this public figure, you know what I'm saying? So that right there gave you even more confidence. And I could accommodate being 500 pounds. And when I say accommodate being 500 pounds, like if I needed a car, I had a bigger car. If I needed to fly, I can get a bigger seat. If I needed a suit, I could go somewhere and get a suit made or something, you know? But it got to a point where, and I was, you know, and it's crazy, Jazz, because I was happy in the skin I was in, you know? It just got to a point where I was thinking, I said, do you have more years behind you than you have in front of you? And at the time, you think, you know, you don't see 500 pound, you know, 50, 60-year-old men walking around.
Yeah, it's
that's
not
healthy.
Common.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's healthy. That's not assisted. That don't have this problem. And so I really started thinking about, you know, taking care of myself. I did a Will Smith challenge where I lost 100 pounds. I put it all back on. But surgery for me, and for anybody out there, I feel like that's the last thing you do. It's not like, oh, I'm going to get this surgery, you know, and especially when I got it, it was that procedure was relatively new. And now cats won't even do the procedure that I got. But it was just that time in my life. I even thought about, Jazz, I was like, well, I'm Big Boy, and people love Big Boy, you know, and I said, man, I'm going to do this. And for a split second, I said, man, am I going to lose my funny? Am I going to lose this? Am I going to lose my listeners? And I was just like, you know what? It doesn't matter because I'm going to lose my life. You know, I felt like
it was way more important than all that stuff. And
this is before my kids and my wife. So this wasn't saying, oh, I got to do it for my babies. I got to do it for my queen. It was more so I had to do it for myself, you know, or I was going to be one of those, man, I wish he would have took care of himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and by now, I probably would have passed on long ago. People like, man, who? You know what I'm saying? Like, you probably be like, big boy, oh, shit, no, I don't think I
No, not at all. Wow.
Dan Son, can you pass me that water from over there? Oh, so, look at both the Dans moving. Is it right there? Hello.
So definitely with the surgery, you just made sure it's not let it change you.
No.
Do you really feel like it had a bit of effect to where it changed your personality or how you carry yourself?
No, it didn't change my personality. I hope not. You know what I'm saying? You know, if I was a fucking idiot then, I'm more of an idiot now. No. It didn't change my personality. You know, it just, you know, if anything, it got me a little more, I don't know if it was age or whatever, it gets you a little more wiser. And that comes with age too, just taking care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? And taking care of those that are around you. So I don't think anything changed. Even now, I'm like 14 years post-surgery. And I still will walk by and look at myself. Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, I'm still not used to this.
I'm glad you brought that up too, because there's a couple of times where just occasionally you probably make jokes and you'll be talking to other people when they offer you maybe like candy or whatever treats or whatever they offer you, and you will say, do you know how big I was? Like, do you say that because you still are kind of like mind blown like from it?
Somewhat,
like, it trips you out
but also what I catch myself doing too, Jazz, is saying, I'll say like, yeah, you know, us fat people, like I catch myself saying that. And I've had people that don't know the 500-pound big boy. I've had so many people, Jazz, that say, why they call you big boy?
Still?
You
can't blame them though.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah.
And then I have to tell them, or I say, you know, or I get people, it's so original when people say, "Oh, I'm gonna have to start calling you not so big boy." You know what I'm saying? But it's all compliments, and it's all my journey. Like, it's my story to tell, so I continue to tell it. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful story to tell. I'm here.
Right.
You know.
Now, by talking about it or joking about it, not just your surgery, I would say your life, because a couple of things I always point out that I notice a lot in your interviews, and I'm not sure if anyone else does, is you like pick at your father not being in your life. Mm-hmm. And I think the most recent thing you said was, I forgot who the interview was with, just maybe like a couple of weeks ago. You had said, "Oh, my father told me that he was going to go get milk but never came back."
Yeah.
And so I'm like, there it is again. There's another time you said something else too when you were talking to Denzel Washington. So I noticed here and there you crack jokes about it. Now, is that your way of dealing with the situation?
No, you know what's the trip about that, dude? Like, that's just something I started playing with. There's no hurt. Okay. With my father. My mom was mother and father. I never had my dad. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like you missed something. I had older brother. Like, I didn't, you can't miss nothing you never had. You know what I'm saying? So, and my mom never said, "Well, your dad's not here and your dad is here." No hard times, no nothing that I ever say, "Man, if my father was here, I wish I." So when you hear me say that, that's new clowning shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it's something that I just kind of go back to, but it was never like something where I felt like, man, like I go, like my son now and my daughter, they have, we have this thing at her school called Daddy and Donuts, right? Uh-huh. And just traveling with my kids or, going, taking them to school. Like, I couldn't imagine not being that with them and for them and my kids. But I don't even remember feeling like a void, like, dude, I don't have a dad to go to such and such with me. I don't know if they just didn't do that shit at the public schools I went to, but it never came up in my childhood that my dad was supposed to be there, or I'm missing something because of, it's no softball because, I can't play with my dad. Like, I never had that. Right. I have and this is on my mother's grave, I have no daddy hang-ups. So that doesn't come from a place where I gotta lay on the couch and peel these layers off and all that shit. Mm-hmm. I'm old enough to know, like, it has no effect on me.
It's just you being you.
Yeah, it's just me clowning. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Like, there is nothing under it. Yes. And even when I was writing my book, I peeled a lot of layers off, Mm-hmm. And even now as I'm thinking, like, is there, like, no, there is absolutely nothing there. Even after having my kids, I don't ever sit back and say, and I'm saying this for the first time because it's coming into my head, I never sit back and say, man, I wish I had these moments.
You don't ever think about it.
I had great moments with my mom.
Yeah.
It was 7 of us.
Mm-hmm.
8 of us, including my mom. Mm-hmm. So we had great moments. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think if I had my dad for like years, if then it was a divorce or he really went for milk and didn't come back, then that would affect me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But shit, I have no recollection of who he is. Like, when he died, my mom said, "Charles died today." And I remember I said, "What's for dinner?" Like, it had nothing on me.
That's crazy.
And even as a human being, it should have had something on me. But I'm 17 when he passed. I never had any conversation with him. So
your mom never told any of you guys, like, why he left or why they weren't together?
I wasn't tripping.
Yeah.
No. And man, when I wrote the book, I wish I could have asked her some things, but I was like, fuck it.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah,
that's
very
crazy.
much so.
And, you're not the only person out there. A lot of us relate to that, too. Me, personally, like, I knew who my father was. I know who he is. But he wasn't there.
Right.
Like that. It was just me and my mom.
Yeah, it's not no evil, like, I don't give a fuck. I'm just like,
that's just what it is.
Yeah, I'm like, shit, I don't know aunts and uncles, and I don't know this person that I'm going to pass by on the street today. Like,
To backpedal real quick about the surgery, I know you mentioned that it was a lot of pain you dealt with before and after the surgery, right?
It wasn't
all throughout it.
It wasn't really the pain of the surgery. It was post-surgery, learning that the procedure I had was duodenal switch. And what the duodenal switch is, Jazz, it's the way that you lose the weight is you malabsorb fat. But your body just doesn't say, okay, I'm malabsorbing the fat, and here's all your protein, here's all your this, here's all your that. You malabsorb everything. So I'm constantly on, like, protein drinks, vitamin A, D, E, K, all this other shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have to have 65 grams of protein a day, I gotta have at least 130 just to hold the 65.
Wow.
So it wasn't complications of, this hurts. It was complications of being depleted. of everything, every vitamin, every protein, every this. So those were the complications that I had. You know, I would fucking black out every day. I would be in the shower. I would have to take showers on my knees because I would just faint. I would lay on the floor, and Jason would take the mic and put the mic on the floor, and I would do my show from the floor. I would be so weak. And that shit went on for like years. I never put that in the public, and you know, I never said, "Oh, I'm having a bad day." People didn't even know there were days I was broadcasting from the hospital. You know what I'm saying? So, I had a lot of complications. That's why when I talk to people about the surgery, make sure it's the last thing you do. You know what I'm saying? And you can't wake up and just say, "Oh, I don't like food anymore." You know, you got to deal with. There's a lot of things
complications after
that you got to deal with.
You're still dealing with to this day?
Yeah, I still deal with making sure that I'm eating right and making sure, you know, there's still a lot of things. And even on my health side, I always got to be on top of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, what could knock you down and knock me through the floor? You know what I'm saying? Like, I went to Mexico with one of my partners, and we was on this food tour eating everything. You know what I'm saying? And when everybody got sick. He had the runs for like 2 days.
Dang.
I was in the hospital for 7.
Shut
You know what I'm saying? So it happens.
So if you had the chance to go back and lose the weight a different way, would you?
No, because it's the way I was supposed to. You know what I'm saying? There, you know, the if I woulda, coulda, shouldas, and the Mr. Destinies and all that shit. I don't really subscribe to a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? But if I had to answer that question, it was the timing too, because now. There's the gastric sleeve that people, you know, you get your protein, you get this, you get that. If I had another option today, it would be that procedure. But going back and saying, "Oh, wishing, you know, if I would have just, you know, did this and willpower," and then like, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it is what it is.
This shit is written in ink. I can't erase this.
Yeah.
You know.
So and why should I even try?
Yeah. So why would I even go and even think about that?
You know? That. Let's talk TMZ. So when the whole thing happened, when you had switched over from the former station, Power Up, to Here Real with us, I know you had mentioned you were just shocked. You didn't think anyone even cared. You didn't know it was news. What makes you think that you're not as big? I mean, like...
I don't know, man.
Why was that shocked to see yourself on the screen and people talking about where you're going to go? As if it was not a big deal.
I just thought that it was crazy because you get that with so many other people. Like, I've never been really, I don't consider myself news. I don't, you know, like, I don't have bodyguards. I walk everywhere by myself. I drive by myself. You know what I'm saying? If it's just me and like my homeboy Jose or something, like, I just don't, I don't live like I'm a headline. You know what I'm saying? And excuse my language, like, I'm not double jointed to suck my own dick. I don't trip off of that shit. You know? So it's not a naivete. I know what hood I'm in and this, that, and the other. So I'm not just walking around like, oh, you know.
Yeah, you're not oblivious.
I'm just not tripping that you know, people want to, you know, side record your conversations and, you know, all that is, it's not new, but it's just crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? So.
Okay. Phone taps. How did phone taps start?
I always played around on the phone. Everybody did at some point in your life. You know what I'm saying? So when I got the morning show, it was, you know, oh, we need benchmarks. You need benchmarks. So I used to, when I first got with Power, I had a board out by the name of Flounder. And Flounder, when I first started to work, they wanted me to learn how to run the board. And so I had to go in overnights and, you know, watch Flounder. And, you know, if I was going to make any mistakes, it was at that time, you know. And Flounder was just a cool cat. And he'd get in there and he'd start running the board. And it was me, Sean Wan, and DJ Ray, my partners. And we was just kicking it. We just start calling people at 1, 2, 3 in the morning. And Flounder would record them on a reel-to-reel tape. And I put him in my locker. And so years, you know, few years past, I'm the morning show guy now. And Jason, my producer and, you know, executive producer and business partners with me. And I played one for Jason. And Jason was like, oh, we should play that on the air. So we played it on the air. Then he's, you know, you have another one? Yeah, let's play that one. So I played, you know, I give him that one. He said, well, how many of these do you have? So I gave him what I had. And I only had probably like 4. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, you know, this is something we should probably think about doing, you know. And it wasn't like you invented the prank call, you know, but with phone taps, I started to record them, and it all just like with shit with me, Jazz, it just kind of falls into place. And I used to use a name called Steve Larkis. And then
Where'd
I went
you
to
get that name
I don't
from?
know where the hell I got it from. And then I went to Steve Lufay. And then for some reason, some lady on the phone tap, she said, "And your name is?" I said, "Luther." She was like, "Luther?" I said, "Yeah, Luther Lufay." And she said, "How do you spell it?" And I was like, and so I could have said Loofay, but if I'm clowning you, and not even thinking then, because Lufay, I would have spelled it Loofay. And I said Luffeigh, the first F is silent. And when I said that, and when I spelled it like that, Lufay, like, you know, like neighborhood,
Right.
it just felt like I had something. And so I told Jason, I said, "Man, every time I make a phone call, I'm going to say my name is Luther Lufay." And so then I was asleep one night, and I woke up to go urinate, and it just came to me, phone taps. And I was like, that's it. That's it. And anybody that think they created phone taps like that, fuck you. Like,
often imitated, never duplicated.
You know what I'm saying? Imitation is the best form of flattery, but don't flatter me. And so my next urine break, I went and I was just going, "Got your phone tap. What you gonna do?" And that's if you don't know, that's a record by Dr. Dre, The Firm.
Right.
And so I remember I went in and I wrote it down, and I went back to sleep. And when I got up, it was a piece of paper next to me, and it said, "Phone taps, get the instrumental, call Dre." He cleared the instrumental, and we took off.
So what did Dre say? Does Dre like it? He
Dre
loves
love
it.
phone taps. Yeah. I spoke with Dre yesterday, not about phone taps.
Right.
I was trying to get $1 billion.
Phone taps are everything now. Is there any of the phone taps that you have done that you're like, man, like I probably shouldn't have did that one? Because sometimes they get out of control.
Yeah. Like there's some phone taps that I can't even listen to because they're so bad. Not bad as in quality. I mean bad like I can't believe this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then there's phone taps that, you know, I probably have more phone taps that I can't play than phone taps that I can play, because some of them are so specific. Some of them are date, you know, and President Bush, or you know what I'm saying. So you lose a lot of your catalog. But there's one that people love that I can't listen to, and it's in my top 3.
People love it. Do we still play it?
Yes.
But you can't listen to it.
I can't listen to it.
Why?
I won't tell you which one it is either.
I gotta.
There's 2. There's top 3. There's the haunted house with the lady with the effing high rise. It's not that one. And then there's Fa La 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 Lights with a dude who tell me I could eat the shit out of his ass. It's not that one. And then there's a third one.
Okay, is there any artist that you phone tap that we haven't heard yet? You can tell us who the artist is if you can. We don't have
No, because all the artists clear them.
Okay.
But there's one phone tap that I just wouldn't play, period. Because, like, with phone taps, I call out of state.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's how people don't say, "Oh, Big Boy," because when I first started phone taps, I burned LA up. You know what I'm saying? And it got to a point where people was like, "Man, I know who this is," you know, so I was like, "Damn, I gotta start calling out of state." But I did this one phone tap. It was in LA, and I never played it on the air because the person that I phone tapped, I don't know who he is, but I think if he heard it, he would be like, "Oh." You know, I won't even say what it was about.
Yeah.
Because no matter how many years ago, if I say it, he'd be like, "Oh, okay. I know who that was." You know what I'm saying? So,
man,
I let it go.
Yeah. What's a pet peeve for Big Boy? I'll give you 2. One that's
I got
in the industry, one that's just generally.
There, you know, pet peeves is like, there's nothing that just, you know, like, there's just some things that I don't rock with, you know. I don't like if you could look me in my face and lie to me, that's bad. You know what I'm saying? And I know that you're lying. I'd rather you just tell me the truth, and we both take our hits for it, you know, then I'm knowing that you're lying. You know what I'm saying? That's a pet peeve, or just a dislike, is people that'll just sit and lie to your fucking face. You know what I'm saying? And you know it.
To me, it's kind of equivalent to someone spitting in your face. Like, just a big...
Yeah, like, dude, what are you doing? And then, there's just small stuff after that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I cut my hair to the skin, right? Mm-hmm. I don't like men to grab my head. Like, anybody else, my kids, a girl, a dude, like, don't sun me. You know what I'm saying? That just, I don't, that's some shit. I'm like, hey, man, don't, and I'm cool with everybody. I'm like, man,
sometimes you kind of have to watch yourself a little bit, like a
or just like, hey,
you don't want to give them a little punch,
shit.
little.
Okay. I don't know.
If they ready to try it,
if I told you like, hey man, such and such, and then if you did it again, then we in violation now. You know what I'm saying? Like if you didn't like this, and then you said, big, and then I did it again, I'm in violation.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? It's like when you were a kid and you played like sock balls. You pick first, I go second and two. Uh-huh. So if you did that, I get second and two now. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. So tell us about you being homeless, because I think a lot of us are dealing with a lot of personal things that we can overcome, and I want to know you dealing with that growing up, having to go to different hotels and house to house and motels. Excuse me,
yeah.
like not the hotels, motels, even worse than that. And then just jumping couch to couch and not even know where you're going to be your next stop. Was that right there probably like the biggest obstacle for you that you overcame to where you felt you could overcome anything?
Yeah, you know what, and I think, Jazz, it's more of when you look back.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because when you're 10 years of age, you don't, I think it hurt my mom more than it actually affected me. Mm-hmm. Like, it affects you, don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. But when we were homeless, if we were at a motel, it was a swimming pool. We're like, oh, we got a pool. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, that's the way kids think. And it happened like 2-3 separate times, and my mom worked hard. Like, my mom, didn't drink, didn't smoke, no drug habit. But I never seen my mom with a boyfriend. She was just on her kids. So that's why it wasn't like it was a slip up. It was a slippery slope. And we had got, it's 7 kids and your mom's single parent. Right. So you get behind, that's when the slippery slope started. You start in one motel, then it's like, damn, it took us like a year to get out of that. And then there was another little bout between places. And then when I was in high school, that's the one, Jazz, when you like 17 now.
So you're
aware of it.
Right.
But even as a 10-year-old, you're aware of it because it was like, like, I would walk home with some of my friends, and when they go their way, I would go mine, and then, all right, Kurt, all right, y'all take it easy. Then when they go, I would dart to the other way.
Yeah.
Going to this place called the Sunlight Mission that was in Santa Monica, where we lived as a family, So I think with that, Jazz, it makes you hustle different.
Okay.
And not hustle because, I've slept in cars, I slept at the fucking Santa Monica place, motels, the missions, everything. So where I am now, I could tolerate anything. You know what I'm saying? When people say started from the bottom, like, nah, I don't say bottom. I'm just rooted in anything I have now, I can accept. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't even know, Jazz, till I wrote my book. A lot of the isms that I have come from, a lot of your isms come from growing up.
Yeah, I'm realizing that now.
If you go to my crib, I only eat out of paper plates.
Why is that?
Because it had to be from when we were in the motel, we ate out of like paper plates. Mm-hmm. And so you go to my crib, and now I put that on my kids and my wife now. You go to my house, I just go to Costco and buy all these paper plates. Paper forks, plastic knives, plastic forks, them red cups. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. People probably see me check out, think I'm throwing like a fucking keg party or some shit. And then in the motel, you always had this little pink bar of soap, and it was the smallest soap. And you was like dry fucking soap. So now if you go to my crib, I literally, if you open it up, I got so many fucking bars of soap in there. It's ridiculous.
Like of that same particular soap, or just
not that one? No, I'd use oil of Olay.
Okay.
But
you just make sure it's always stocked up.
Always.
It will never be empty.
Never. You know what I'm saying?
It's same for the plastic plates and everything.
There's the plastic forks. They're 500 in a box. I literally go and buy 2,000-3,000 of them.
That is bananas.
Yes. You know what I'm saying? Yes.
And
man.
do you feel incomplete if you don't? Or
that's just the way it is.
You see something missing, it's like, oh, I gotta restock that.
It never goes down to where I gotta restock
okay.
it. Like, I don't run out of cups. You know what I'm saying? And even with my kids, oh, that's your cup for today, or that's, but my kids, they know that now, and that's some shit that I put on them. Like my wife, we don't really wash dishes. There's, I cook. We cook every day.
You don't have any dishes to wash, really.
Yeah. So not plates and and we have everything,
right? Cups
and all that kind of shit, but nah.
And that's luxury too. For your part.
In itself, you know what I'm saying? I tell you.
We're getting a lot of backlash from. Well, I don't know why I'm putting we into it because I'm so young, but I would say a lot of us who are older, who grew up on like the OG's music, we're getting a lot of like backlash because we're considered old heads and that we don't know what we're talking about when it comes to new music. How are you receptive to the new generation?
You know what? Music? I've never been a. I could sneak the message in. I bought the first hip hop records, that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? I've been through every so-called phase of hip hop, but we always been in a know-it-all. When we were kids, we knew it all. We knew it all. You know what I'm saying? They're old, whatever it is. Oh, that's not.
We knew too much.
Or my mom would say, "Oh, that's not music." Now people see now, oh, Lil Yachty, oh, that's not music. My job isn't to force my playlist and my lifestyle upon you. You know what I'm saying? And then I would be playing myself if I told you, any MCs, oh, that's not music. That's when,
right.
I'm a dinosaur. I start doing. If I become your teacher and just a smooth historian, like I know my history, but sometimes you just want me to play the record. Yeah. Now, if we sit down and we have a discussion, all right, cool. But if I'm sitting here and I work at a burger place and you come in, I'm not going, man, oh brother, yeah, the patty used to be this big back in the day.
I hate
meat
that.
Used to be,
that's like my mom.
That ain't my gig. But that's in a lot of us, and it's in me. You know what I'm saying? But it's not what I spend my time telling you that this isn't music. If it is your music,
okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I can't tell you to dress like me because this is what the fuck I wear. I can't tell you. So if that's what you rock into, rock on. Who you fuck don't make me come. Excuse me. But you know what I mean? But real shit. So I'm gonna go to sleep tonight.
Yeah. If
you listening to Yachty and Savage and Vert, no, I'm going to sleep tonight. You know what I'm saying? So.
But do you listen to them? I know you interviewed
I listen.
I
listen to it enough. You know what I'm saying? But then also what I do, what's helped me in my career, is I listen to everything. I'm not. I'm genre free.
Okay.
Yeah. Here. Like I'll listen to shit and you be like, man, you hip to that?
Yeah.
Or that's what you rock to? So, and then I go to, like, I went to J. Cole last night. I love Cole. I love that there's no dancing and, for not disrespect to anybody, but he get up there and it's beats and lyrics or whatever it may be. But I like looking at the crowd. So I sit with the crowd and I like to look and see what's making this person jump up and down, how they looking at them. Like I analyze everything.
And stay observant too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I got to,
Big, what happened to you being more in touch with the movie scene a little bit? You've done a lot of movies, and in your book you talked a little bit about it, but you didn't touch too much. Can we expect like you maybe doing a TV show or something?
Definitely. I got some stuff that we're working on now.
Okay.
But even with the movies, low key, high key, you know what I'm saying? But even with the movies, it was more of, I do radio. You know what I'm saying? And I think I do that well. I'm successful in radio. So anything that it's always going to be this. So anything that is a that, I got to put that with this and this with that. And when it comes to television or movies like that, it wasn't like I was getting the best roles where I was like, oh shit, I'm next to Denzel. You know what I'm saying? Right. It was, oh, we want you to be the radio guy, or, it'd be a one-day shoot. What the fuck I want to do that for? You want me in your movie so I could talk about the movie it, you know, whatever, the pay is shit, the scale is shit, the lines are shit. So I'd rather not do it. You know what I'm saying? I don't need, like, I did a lot of that already, and I don't need to do it now. You know, when I first came on, I was a fucking video vixen. When I first started in radio, I was in everybody. Oh yeah, hell yeah, I'll be in that video. You know, and even now, I just don't run out to videos and all that shit. I gotta be careful how I pick and choose what I do. And I don't want to be on a set for a day for nothing when I could be here a day recording phone taps. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So would you say that there has been some opportunities for new roles and movies that you probably turned down?
Mm-hmm. And you know what? Even the stuff that I've turned down, it wasn't like I've seen shit and be like, oh man. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, you know, if it's something that I feel like, even if it's just one day and I should be a part of it, or if it's a small piece, I'll do it.
Straight Outta Compton, would you have done it?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
I would have motherfucking done Straight Outta Compton. Even if it was just, hey, Power 106, you know, like, because I presented a lot of that music. I would have definitely did Straight Outta Compton. But they didn't call. You know?
Dre.
It's the ones you want that don't call.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The same ones that want to favor
like shit, hell yeah. But no, it's all gravy.
Yeah. I think I'm running out of things to ask you, Big. We can go all day, but I don't want to keep you much longer. The last thing I'll probably just say is you've been through a lot. You've seen a lot. How do you remain you? How do you not let this industry change you? People's thoughts and opinions, like I said, whether it is in the industry or without it being in the industry.
You know what it is, Jazz?
What keeps you going?
I'm Ida's son. You know what I'm saying? If I'm Ida's son with this on the wall, or I'm Ida's son and I work in the cafeteria, I'm always going to be me. You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing that could really knock me off of my square, because I'm always going to be Ida's son. I'm always going to be Kurt Alexander. Am I going to be Big Boy from Power 106 for the rest of my life? That didn't happen. Am I going to be Big Boy from Real 92.3 for the rest of my life? No, I'm not. But I'm always going to be Ida's son. You know what I'm saying? So with that, I could take that and move anywhere. And my mom taught us so well that I can't be jaded. I'm cut from her cloth.
Right.
My mom was a giver. And my thing is, she was such a beautiful person. If you follow an asshole home, an asshole's probably going to answer the door. If you follow a beautiful person home, you know, then a beautiful person may answer the door, God willing. And the same with me, I do a lot for people. And my heart is good, and God knows you don't talk about what you do specifically. But I always say it's just add water. And by that, Jazz, when I say just add water, if I was a given person and I had $1 and I was like, you know what, man, they need it more than I do, and I gave you my last $1, I would do that. But when you get into a position where you can do more, I call that you just add water. Now I can help more people. You know what I'm saying? You're blessed, so your blessings got to be bigger for others as well. This isn't just for me. Like, your blessings are a faucet. Seeds, right? Yeah, and they're a faucet. The blessings run through you. That's why they say cups runneth over. Those blessings, that's not your blessings, but you got to be a blessing to others too. You know what I'm saying? So I continue to do that, because I remember, you know, if I feed a family, if I do this, if I do that, and I don't say it on air. I don't, I don't take cameras and say, oh, we buying these Christmas trees and we doing all this. If it's station driven and we giving away turkeys, all right, fine. But if I'm doing something from the heart, I can't parade you in front of somebody, because for one, you could be homeless, but that's not helpless. You know, and then there's some people that just don't want to be a part of this machine of you running them through, because prideful, whatever it is. Some people just, like, sometimes it take a lot for somebody to ask for help.
It is.
And I remember when I was in 8th grade, we didn't have food for Thanksgiving, so we had to have this service that delivered food to us. You know what I'm saying? Like, they brought you boxes and this, that, and the other. And I remember I'm 13 years old, and we were living in an apartment then. And I remember they knocked on the door, and it was a school, and it was, and I remember when I looked through the peephole, the people that were dropping the food off was about the same age I was. So I was embarrassed to open the door. Wow. So you could just leave it right there. And they did. And I remember what that feeling felt like. And I don't want to put that feeling on somebody else that just need some help. Like, just help me. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And not that it's degrading, but just help me, and don't for real reasons.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't do it for out of pity.
Yeah, don't
or
help me to help you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I do so much, and by the grace of God, and God knows. That's what I always tell people. Man, God knows. I don't have to come on and every day say, hey, well, you know, I was saw this lady yesterday, and I'm like, nah, man, God knows. You know what I'm saying? So I'm good to go.
What is one thing you can share with, this is the last one, I promise, the last one. What is one thing that you can share right now for everyone to know that they don't know already about you? You haven't told us anything yet.
There's a few. There's you know, I went to school to become a plumber. A lot of people didn't know that.
Did you?
I wanted to be a plumber. Like, I was like, fuck it, man, plumbers make money. You know what I'm saying? That.
I didn't know there was a school for that.
Yeah. You just get your certificate. You know what I'm saying? People gotta teach you how to plumb. You know, we all don't know shit. Hello, get it? Plumber. We all don't know. All right, fine. But that shit. When I was a kid, I used to have real nappy hair, so my family called me Roach. That
Big, I don't even remember you having hair.
No.
Growing up.
My first promo pictures I had hair. And even now, if you feel like this, Jazz, like, I don't cut my hair out of male pattern or baldness. I cut my hair just to cut my hair. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So, yeah, it's not like if I let it grow, I got this, you know, this.
See, I always thought like you just didn't have hair really like growing in as much.
No, if you feel everywhere.
But I have hair. I do feel it.
Yeah, I have hair everywhere.
Yeah,
you know
there.
what I'm saying? Yeah, 100%. You know what I'm saying? She did like this. You're like, what the fuck?
No.
You're like, you nervous? Like, what the fucking oily ass motherfucker? Bring some chickens in here. We could fried chicken with all this fucking oil you have on you right now. But no, Jazz, it's definitely a pleasure, man. I'm glad we had a chance.
I appreciate this.
This is easy call.
All right, thank you, Big.
Thank
you for tuning in. Oh, real quick, can you plug your shit right now? As you have with
I don't know, shit. It got me nervous to plug stuff.
To talk about though, whatever else you're working on.
I don't know. Well, shit, you know. Okay, I don't know if this is a setup.
Stay tuned.
All right, cool it again. Daniel, just put it in post. You know what I'm saying? Show you right.
Thank you so much, man.